What is up, all you real estate loving individuals? This is episode number 29 of the Real Estate Take podcast, and I'm your host, Wendell Butler. This is your go-to podcast with tons of information regarding the current real estate market, where we get various real estate professionals' current take on different areas of real estate. For today's guest, we have Jonathan Greene. Jonathan Greene is a thought leader in the real estate investing space. His podcast, Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing, is one of the fastest growing real estate podcasts in the world. He is a lifelong real estate investor, on-market team leader, and luxury agent, as well as a certified life coach and real estate coach. He hosts in-person and online real estate investor meetups monthly. So let's bring in Jonathan. Hey, John, how you doing today?
What's up, Wendell? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on your podcast, and I get to return the favor by having you on mine.
Yeah, I like swapping the mic sides. It's fun because I get to learn a lot about you on mine, and then you can just return the favor.
Absolutely. Now it's instead of just like a one-way date, now it's like we really learn about each other.
Yeah, we're fully formed now.
Absolutely. So I like to always start out just to let you kind of get the floor and just tell us more about you, who you are, what your roles in like real estate is, how you got into it, and kind of just your backstory. It could be very broad, whatever you want to touch on, go right ahead.
Yeah. So, I was fortunate enough to grow up with a dad who was a real estate investor, but that was his side hustle. My dad came from nothing. His dad was an alcoholic gambler. So every time he got something cool, it got taken away. But my dad was really focused on generational wealth from the time he had me, which was his first kid, and then later my half sister. So I've been walking property since I was 2 years old, and people are like, oh, that's not true. No, it's true. I looked at hundreds and hundreds of properties before I was 18. I owned a lot of properties in trust before I was 18. I collected rent before I was 18, managed tenants, knew all the tenants, and understood real estate without necessarily being interested in it. I was a young kid. I just wanted to play sports, but my dad and my mom got divorced when I was 2. So he was a weekend dad. He would pick me up every Friday, drive me from Brooklyn to Westchester, and all we would talk about is real estate, money, and sports and dirty jokes. But on the weekend, we would look at properties. That's what he did. So we would go to yard sales. He'd make an offer on every house at a yard sale. We'd swing by, pick up rents. So he was kind of just through osmosis teaching me real estate. And then as I got older and older, I realized how much I knew.
Yeah. So it's cool to talk to someone that actually started pretty much ever since they were born in real estate. Like most people don't, and then they just find their way to real estate. Do you think that kind of gave you like an upper hand, or did you go through a phase where you started in real estate, but then you were like, do I even want to do this? Like, I know a lot, but like, do I want to try other things? Then you found yourself back into real estate. Like, how was that kind of?
Yeah, I remember like when I was younger, there was no internet. So everything was really different. There wasn't a wealth of information out there. So what my dad was teaching me, I never thought had to be my primary job. He was an attorney. I was an attorney. So I went and became an attorney, worked 10 years as an attorney, and then worked in other fields. But I was always doing real estate. I just never thought I had to differentiate whether I was a real estate investor or an attorney or something else. I was always interested in multiple streams of income. I was investing in stocks when I was 13 or 14. So he's just a very ahead of his time person who was planning and without being overbearing, teaching me because he knew how to show me things, teach me things while spending time with me, and then mixing in other things like getting basketball or getting a video game. So, a good example is one of the properties that we owned in Yonkers was a commercial building, and there was an electronics company in there. And every time on the way back from Brooklyn, we would go pick up the rent. I think we either picked it up once a month or we picked it up kind of like bi-weekly to help them out. But I would always get an Intellivision game when I was there. You don't even know what that is because you're young, but it was like the sidecar to Atari. So I think I was very, very fortunate to have the opportunity. But when I look at now with all the technology brings, I think people are missing out because you can still do exactly what my dad did and what I did. Technology is a bridge to relationships. It's not the relationships. And all my dad did was build relationships with people. That's how he made so many deals. And he just liked to buy weird stuff. He bought a ton, courthouse auction, just because it was a good deal. And it was a different time. There wasn't the internet to put everything up on Zillow. It was really, you had to be crafty, drive for dollars, and build relationships to know where the deals are at.
Yeah. So I think you learned basically the before technology wise, how to kind of build a real estate portfolio and how to get into real estate, which helped you a lot because I think real estate, even though there's a lot of technology nowadays, we talked about this before. Yeah. Real estate's all about relationships. So it's like, yeah, you have technology and stuff, but if you're just like shooting someone text messages, automation, and using AI and stuff, like your percentage of closing is going to be so much smaller than someone that's actually building relationships. Like they'll have a higher percentage of closing closing, because just being able to like talk to people and understand people and work with people, because when you're in real estate, you're solving problems. That's what you're doing, not just buying houses and stuff. You're dealing with people, helping them out of issues and things like that. So I think it's super important to still keep that relationship component in all areas of your real estate career. And that's even with like any other business you have too. Like, you're not selling to robots and stuff. You're selling to people. Like, people are the ones that have money, that want to consume and buy things and use your product. So you got to always have a relationship type touch on everything that you do. And I think it's awesome that you got to experience that firsthand, like door knocking and stuff and talking to people and everything that was off the internet, like that whole aspect of it, which probably set you up to even do better in FaceTime. Yeah.
I think I always had an advantage of understanding how the person to person was supposed to go, even though it made me uncomfortable. I still saw that my dad treated tenants like people. So I didn't grow up thinking landlords were slumlords like a lot of people think. Like, we knew all of our tenants. We had a lot of accessory dwelling units. So we had tenants on site, like our houses, in back houses. So there was always like construction workers around. We had like bulldozers and cranes in the yard because my dad would buy those at auction and then like just try building stuff for tests, at our house. So he was really interested in maximizing income, but he liked real estate. I mean, he was always making drawings for new houses, and he liked great houses a lot. We moved a lot.
Oh, yeah. 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 I think you were very fortunate, and I was pretty fortunate as well, because my dad was very financially savvy and kind of spoke to me in real life terms rather than just what I learned in school.
Yeah.
Because like, school is great and all, like if you're trying to learn specifics of science or mathematics or attorney and law and things like that, if you want to become a doctor or lawyer, things like that, I think it's good for that. But they miss out on teaching you real life scenarios and real life like education, such as taxes or income or how to make income or how to run a business, how to start a business if you want to.
Yeah.
School kind of just teaches you how to become a worker in a way. It doesn't really allow you to think outside the box. So having your dad show you that is just probably put you ahead of the game of everybody else, because you already from the get-go, you're like, oh, you can do all this other side hustles or different careers that don't involve just going to school and getting like a 9 to 5 or something like that. And do you think that did help you kind of set you on the direction that you went in a way?
Yeah, I mean, there were no profiles, so I never had to declare myself an attorney. Someone asked me what I did. I said I was an attorney. But if they asked me what I was doing on the weekend, I would say I was looking at houses. So I didn't, like, before you had to create a profile on LinkedIn and declare yourself something, it just wasn't that. I just looked at my dad. He just did stuff. And if there was a good deal, he would buy it. I mean, we own weird stuff, like Triple Net in Carson City, Nevada, that an Arby's was on, random like stuff behind a golf course in New York, strip malls in Florida. When we were on vacation, we weren't on vacation. We were looking at real estate. Like, we would just be driving around looking at stuff. And that's still how I am. Wherever I go, no matter what I do, even if I'm out of the country, I'm not necessarily going to buy something, but I just want to look at real estate. I also like real estate. I love architecture. I love aesthetics. So there's no end to the game. So when you think about, again, technology and also what newer people to the business are thinking, I think they're thinking, scale, end game. How can I get out? How can I be fire? Let me retire early. I literally have no interest in retiring. I'd be so bored. So by growing up the way I did, my dad never made it like there was a retirement. It was just like, you do this job, and then when you don't want to do it, put your skills into something else, and you do this on the side. And that's why I moved from law to the art world to teaching, and then into real estate on both sides full time, like 12 years ago. But when other businesses come up, I'm always looking to do other stuff.
Yeah, I think what's cool about real estate too is it gives you the freedom to do all that. Like, you can definitely hop around and try different things and have, I would say, fun, and just have like a lot of variety in your life, compared to someone that's kind of strapped to their degree or what they went to school for, and they feel like that's what they have to do for the rest of their life, and they're stuck working at that like 40, 60 hours a week, and then they're tired. They don't really want to do anything else. I mean, that's the reason that I got into real estate mostly, is because of the freedom aspect of it, which is fantastic. And it just allows me to then explore other business opportunities too, kind of like what you're saying. Like, I'm looking at buying businesses now. I'm looking at, I can go on a lot of trips. I'm going on a trip next week to Costa Rica. Like, I just like live life on my own terms. That's basically what I think about real estate, is it allows you to live life on your own terms, which is awesome.
Yeah, but what's important for newer people to understand is that you still need a fallback. So you need a job to create the runway to then do it, like you did with lending. And then you also got experience. Like, if everything went haywire, I could just go be a lawyer. And unfortunately, lawyer pretty high paying job if I wanted to do it. I just don't want to do it. And then I could go back to the art world. I could go back to teaching because I have an advanced degree, or I could just build a business with money that I've made from real estate. But I've been on time freedom for, at least 20 years. And that doesn't mean I've just been sitting around. I work just as hard as I did when I was working 100 hours a week at a government job as my first job out of law school. So I just like working because I work in areas that I'm really passionate about. But I'm fortunate enough that I could make those choices. My dad paid for college. I was lucky that I didn't have to pay back student loans. But I think a lot of people, like, if you're working a job that you don't love, I would still try to be the best at it. That's how you keep getting raises. Mm-hmm. So it's just a kind of your perspective on life, which is kind of where I've changed the most over the years, just taking a more mindful approach to everything, which includes real estate investing, which led to the podcast that I had you on, where we got to talk about that as well.
Yeah, I think you touched on something that really good, like perspective. Like, a lot of people will be like stuck in their day job that they hate, and their perspective is like, oh, I have to go to my job again. I can't get out of this, blah, blah. But if you change this perspective to just say, I'm going to be the best I can at this job, even though I hate it, because I know that that's going to give me the runway to get out of it, because I'm going to start getting more cash to then put into other things, and then have those other businesses or other investments start making me the money that allows me to leave. It's all about perspective, right? So it's about just thinking ahead and being positive and using the tools that you have currently to get you to the next area that you want to get to, right?
Yeah, and no matter what you do, if you don't have that perspective and general positivity on what you're doing, or at least making the best of it, you're not going to be the best worker. You're probably going to suck. You're going to be the person at the office that everyone's like, oh, I want to talk to him. He's just all, Debbie Downer all day. Where it's like, look, if you're a waiter, crush it as a waiter. You'll make great tips, and then you understand what the pay scale is. You can't always complain about where you're at without doing anything to make it better. And I learned that at the government, because when I started working as an attorney, my first salary was $25,000. Mm-hmm. That was my first salary working as a prosecutor in Broward County, Florida. So what happened at the government is you could get raises, but they would always ask you, hey, here's a promotion. You can become a supervisor. It doesn't start with any extra salary. Do you want to do it? It's more responsibility. I was like, yeah, give it to me. I knew I would prove myself. And I learned even in the government that I got much steadier and more raises than everyone else, because anything that they asked me to do, I did it because I had no constraint on the capacity. And I think that's why I'm still good at what I do. There's no limit to the capacity that I can endure, because I'm very efficient and scheduled. So I know how to schedule stuff. But I think a lot of people, all different ages now, just suffer from an absolute lack of capacity. Like not doing 10 things at once, just being efficient and scheduled, and being able to, like, hey, if I need to do this project, so I'm going to work 14 hours today. But they're goofing off on the internet 5 hours a day. I have scheduled time, so I know when I can use the internet and when I can't, and I have blocks in my schedule to move it around. And I think that's really important, that no matter what you do, you're scheduling out the time for yourself so you can work on your own personal growth, so you can be better. Like we were saying, better perspective leads to better work, and then maybe better opportunities because you have a better attitude.
Yeah, and you touched on two things there that I want to repeat. One is, always taking on. So yeah, if you want to, this goes to all business and any type of job that you're in, even in your own, even like building up your own business as well. You're gonna have to take on more responsibility to get to the next step in your life, even if you don't get like that incentive right away. And I think what's wrong with a lot of people nowadays is they feel entitled, that like the second that they get more on that plate, they want more money immediately without proving that they can even handle it.
Yeah.
So you got to step into like every single role, even if it's your business as well, as in like you're going to have to do more work up front, and then you start seeing the reward after. So take on as much responsibility as you can, and then you're going to reap the rewards later. It's kind of like that delayed gratification type mindset. That's what you have to have. And then you just know that as you're doing that anyway, it's making you a better person, making you a better individual, making you a better worker, making you a better everything. So then you just become the best person that you could possibly be. And then that's where you just start setting up your trajectory, which is sort of like, it's like the hockey stick curve, right? It's like you work really hard, you start taking on more responsibility, and then all of a sudden, boom, you start making a lot more money, having a lot more time, a lot more freedom. And that's with business, that's with W-2 work, that's with 9-to-5s, that's with anything, right? And I think a lot of people just feel entitled nowadays, which kind of sets you up for failure, because if you go to like your boss and you start saying, oh, they ask you to do something, like this is the worst thing you could possibly say, is like your boss is like, hey, can you handle this? And you're like, that's not in my job description. Like people say that all the time. And like, I'm just like, sure, it's not not in your job description. But if you can show that you can work outside of your job description, take on more responsibilities, then your superior is going to realize this person kicks ass, and I'm going to give them that pay raise. I'm going to give them more responsibility, and they're going to end up growing into just like a better position. But if you started off with like, I'm not doing that because that's not what I was hired for, then you're going to be stuck in the place that you were hired for then. And then you're never going to get a pay raise.
I think your job and everything is to become an asset. And if you're an asset and then you feel like the company that is employing you is undervaluing you, then you go look for another job while you're still working. I mean, this is just part of the working world. If you're doing a great job and you're working with other companies, they're going to see that. And that all goes to personal growth. One thing that I know you know as well, working on yourself is just part of working on your business, because if you're depressed or your mental health is unsteady just because there's things going on, you're not going to be able to do your job the best. So continually like making sure that you're good is helping your job, and it helps you keep that perspective that we were talking about. But so that okay, sure, I've done 5 things without getting paid, but I've crushed them all. So now I'm going to say like, yeah, now it's time to put it on the table. Look, here's the 5 projects I did. And you have to have other opportunities to go in. So if you're working at a job, you should be looking for other opportunities all the time, because that's how you leverage your career. It's not like you always have to be threatening, hey, I'm going to leave, but you should be looking for better opportunities if you don't love where you're at, and see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's another power of technology too, is like if you just update your LinkedIn and stuff of like what you've been doing, and say you're starting to do a lot more at your job and killing it, like recruiters will just reach out to you, and they're just going to be like, hey, I saw that you did this. Are you interested in like another possible career path or another job? And like a lot of the time, if you're happy at where you work and you're totally satisfied, yeah, like you don't have to like take their offer on it or like have them pitch you anything, but you should always see what other people are offering, because then it doesn't mean you have to leave your job, right? It just means you get kind of in leverage to then bring to the table at your current job and be like, hey, I've done this for you, and I have other job offers that are offering me this right now. I don't want to leave. Like, could you match this, or could we work together to like set me on a path to get to this, and then work with like your current employment too if you don't want to leave, if you really like it. But yeah, like you said, sometimes you do have to move on, and that's how you kind of set yourself up to the next steps. And that's a big change too, because I remember my dad, he worked at Staples for like a long time, like over 20 years, and he always harped on like, stay loyal to your company, they're going to treat you really well. He believes in people, good people, et cetera, but he eventually at the end of his time there just got replaced like at the snap of a finger. And he was a top performer, like he was killing it in his job, but they realized like, hey, we're paying this guy way too much, we're just going to put in a younger person that we could pay like half the price, and he can pretty much do the same thing because we have automation now, things like that. And like second that happened to my dad, he immediately changed his tone, and he's like, you know what, there's no point nowadays to like really stay super loyal. Yeah, you should stay loyal, like love your job, love the people there, but you should always be looking for like other options, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, right now, what do you need to do? You need to be in a career or working on a career that can't be replaced by AI. I mean, there's just nothing else to do about it. People should be replaced by AI, not because I want them to, but it's quicker. So you have to look at it from a business point of view. So if you're just writing copy right now, you're in trouble. You need to start to pivot well in advance. If AI can do it better than you can't blame a company for doing it. But you look at real estate, nothing is ever going to replace people in real estate. You're never, ever going to do that. It doesn't matter what everybody says, or when people, real estate agents are unnecessary. Most of them suck, but that doesn't mean they're unnecessary because the best ones know so much more. I know so much more than most real estate agents because of my history. So it gives me a competitive advantage. And that's what I think I'm looking for in every deal. Anything that relates to real estate, it's just leverage, how much I know. And if I'm always studying the market locally or the market that I'm interested in, studying the people, understanding that every list that you build for off-market acquisitions, not the same pitch. Someone who is an heir of something, that's a different pitch than a divorce, which is a different pitch than an old person who's lived there 40 years and doesn't know where they're going to go, and they don't have kids. Like, these are all different pitches. So you have to be nimble in your career. You have to be nimble in real estate investing. You can't just go in with one script. Hey, I have cash, I'll buy your house. Yes, most people who say that don't have cash. So it's kind of like, that's what modern technology is teaching people, like basically lie to everybody and then see if you can lock up a deal and then try to sell it to somebody else. So that's wholesaling in a nutshell. The people who do wholesaling well absolutely crush it because everybody else does the courses or doesn't do it well.
Well, yeah. And it all comes back down to like what we talked about before is relationships, and it's all just relationship based and everything that you do. Everybody's on this world trying to be better. And as long as you're helping each other become better in anything that you do, and you have empathy and you understand, try to put yourself in other people's shoes and understand where they're coming from, come and work with them to create a win-win situation where you're both bettering yourself, I mean, you're going to kill in anything that you do. Like anything that you possibly do, you're going to kill it if you have that mindset. And I think a lot of people kind of with technology now and just the type of economy that we're in and the market that we're in, which is hard, people come into businesses trying to they kind of started being a little bit selfish, I would say. Like they're just caring about like, what can I get? What can I get? Like, I need to get this. I need it now. Like, and they have no patience either. They're like, I need it now and I want this. But instead you should be like saying like, how can I help someone within my industry that I'm in to create better lives for everybody and just better society? And in return, just how it works, like it's going to come back to you. I say it's like karma in a way.
For sure.
Kind of like you put out good energy is going to come back. And yes, it takes a little bit longer because and it's harder because you have to build kind of a base of doing that. But the second you build that base and the second you start creating a track record of you being just a great individual and working well with people and building your business a certain way and a certain culture, the amount of business that you'll have will just supersede anybody else that comes in and just wants to get rich quick and is just selfish about it. And you'll see that a lot. Like a lot of people come in, like in real estate, like they come in with this huge like idea of like wholesalers, like I'm going to market, I'm going to use technology, I'm going to kill it. And then they get like one deal and they're like, I'm killing it. And then all of a sudden it's just gone because they have no reoccurring deals coming because they didn't build any networking relationships or anything like that. But then you have the ones that have slower growth, but then all of a sudden they take off because everybody's like, oh, this guy's been doing this the right way for the past 3 to 5 years. I'm going to send my business his way. And then it just takes off.
Yeah, it's short term versus long term. I mean, if you just look at what people do on social media, could you buy followers and then you have 100,000 followers? Cool, but they're all fake. Yeah. So like I never tried to scale any of my social media, but I get deals every single opportunities, clients off my YouTube or off Instagram every week. Big deals too, not little baby deals. And it's because I never asked for anything. I've never had a call to action. I don't care at all. The biggest power you have in real estate and in life is to walk away from something. But that also means to just not have an ask, because the people who don't have an ask are just there to help. Like you said, it's why I run real estate meetups also. Nothing happens at my meetups other than people hanging out and we get people's food and they can buy their own drink. There's no speeches, no pitches, no lenders allowed other than anyone who's sponsoring the event. And we just hang out and meet. And I think that over time, we've been doing those since 2020 now. So what else do you have to do? I got last week, just 2 times, people from the meetups who I've known for years, who probably used other agents in the past, just sent me a message. Hey, I'm looking to diversify, get something like big assets. I didn't ask for business. I just respond when they do it. And again, I've built businesses over the years by just giving out information for free. That's how it works. That's how you get people who can watch your content for a year and then they just show up and want to do $1 million deal instead of begging everyone. I mean, if you run Facebook ads, you can generate a lot of leads. I've done it, but 99% of them are terrible. So I don't like to go fishing for that long. I just like people, when somebody contacts me, it's only going to be good because I don't answer my phone or I don't check emails that are spam. So I have a much more efficient way of doing business. And I think a lot of people can learn from that, but they don't, because as you were saying, they're focused on the short term. Hey, let me blast this out. Let me send 10,000 postcards. What will be better? What will be better if you sent 1,000 postcards to the same people for 10 months? That's still 10,000 postcards, but you'll immediately do 100 times better than just one set of 10,000 postcards, hoping for the best.
Yeah, because I mean, you're nurturing. It's all about nurturing, right? Of course. It's about being top of mind, letting people know that you're here for them, and you're still gonna be sending postcards. They'll probably see it the 6th time and be like, "This guy again." But then if something comes up during that time, they're gonna be like, "I'm gonna call this guy because he's been persistent." And yeah, it comes down to just being a good person, because I'm sure at the networking events, you're just talking to people, spreading information for free. Anybody asks you any question, you just answer it, ask for anything back, and people realize that.
And I think
and in turn, like subconsciously, like when they have a deal come by, they're gonna think of you first, and it's just being top of mind. And again, yeah, that's like, it takes a little bit longer to get that going, but the amount of strength and the base that you build, this like strong core that you've built there for your business, is going to help you out, especially when the market turns, because people still come to you.
Yeah. I mean, who do you want to do business with? Someone you know, like, and trust. So, I mean, if you don't, how's that going to work for business? It's going to be a one-time deal. I don't like one-time deals. That's why as an agent, I like working with investors, because they do multiple deals and I can build a relationship. So if you're a real estate agent who works with investors, you're your investor who wants to find a good real estate agent, you could do 7, 10 deals a year. For most real estate agents, that's more than they'll do in their entire career. So if you're a real estate agent who goes to meetups and you have a couple investments, all you need is one investor client, and you could literally be doing more than 80% of your whole office, because most people just do 2 deals or less a year as an agent. And that's why when I became a licensed agent 12 years ago, I realized, oh shit, like I know more than everybody.
Yeah.
I just did myself. I just acted like myself. I knew stuff about houses, foundations, chimneys. I knew things, and I just used that to my advantage, and I still do. But our point of what we've been saying, every time I go out and look at a house, though, I'm still looking for new stuff. I'm always finding stuff because I always want to learn, so I'm ahead of the curve and I'm never stagnant. We're just saying, like, I don't want to be the same person I was today, tomorrow. I want to be a better version.
Yeah. And yeah, it's all about just getting better and always trying to learn, being a sponge. And then not only being a sponge, but also spreading the information for free. And that's why I have this podcast. It's just free information for everybody. I don't run any ads. I don't charge anyone anything. I mean, I'm trying to make a Facebook group where I'm just going to have like weekly webinars of me just underwriting deals just to show people how I do it. And then people can hopefully learn from it. And then in turn, I'm not really expecting anything back, but I guarantee you, like, as I start doing that, people will reach out to me. They'll reach out to me with deals. They'll reach out to me with JVs.
Yeah, JV is huge for that. Yeah.
It'll just happen, and that's cool and everything. But I'm not doing it for that. I'm just trying to give back because I see so many people in real estate nowadays just for social media. You know, the gurus out there spreading out this information that are going like, they're losing like their shirt. Like they're going out and like thinking that they're underwriting stuff correctly and they're not. And they're like almost going bankrupt because they just read this PDF document that some dude created after reading a book about wholesaling or about fix and flipping. And they just regurgitated it and then sold it for like $1,000 when you could have just bought that book for $5 and learned it yourself. I see so many people get in trouble nowadays. I just want to like help other people be successful in real estate. It's hard nowadays compared to when it was during like COVID and stuff like that. And you have a lot of people out there selling courses that only did deals during COVID, and now they don't do deals anymore because it's too hard.
Yeah.
Because in COVID, you could have just bought anything and you could have like,
right, but that was all luck because no one was getting reps during COVID. Most people were buying sight unseen. The problem that most people run into is they don't have enough reps to reach the tipping point. But when you ask someone, hey, when someone tells you, oh, I looked at 20 deals this week, always ask them, how many did you see in person? They'll usually say 0. So you didn't look at any deals. How many deals have you looked at in your life? You and I, a lot. Me, I'm old, like more than anyone could ever imagine how many houses I walk. But like if you're just a new investor and you're not looking at houses, you're not doing anything. You're just playing video games. You don't understand. If you don't know what a basement looks like and what a roof looks like and what a foundation probably looks like and when a furnace is past its useful life, so you know, hey, that's going to be 10 grand, or you don't know to do a sewer inspection, you don't know to check for oil tanks, you don't know your market. And P.S., you can't just dip into another market. In New Jersey, we have oil tanks. In other areas, they don't. You need to know what inspections you're doing in each area to protect yourself against what's out there and also to be a shrewd negotiator.
Yeah, I think I looked at, before I did my first deal ever, I was in New England and I was just looking for like a house hack, like my next house hack type thing. And I probably looked at like 100 multifamily properties. And there was an amazing realtor that I would just go out with, and he was doing exactly what we're talking about here. His name was Brian Allen, and he would literally just bring people out, go look at properties, listings, and he would break down like what to look for. Yeah. It's just free information. And it was amazing because I saw like literally 100 properties with him, and I learned so much to the point that now I can almost just look at pictures of properties. Yeah. Yes, you can get to a point where you don't have to go out and walk properties yourself. You can almost look at, if there's enough pictures, you can have a really good understanding. And then you still want to go out there, have someone going out there and look at the foundation, because foundation pictures, those usually don't.
Well, look, you can't smell it. You can't smell anything online either. So you don't know if it's a cat piss house, a smoker house, a mold house. I mean, these are all things that you learn. So yeah, I mean, if you're an out-of-state investor, you're going to rely on somebody else. But that is then what type of relationships have you built to get those boots on the ground? Now, are they a realtor who's investor friendly, or are they just a realtor who has commission breath looking to get paid? There's a big difference. And these are all things that, of course, you can learn. You just do your best with the assets, but you should just be looking for assets. My dad was a deal hunter. I'm more of an asset hunter, but my dad had a big appetite for risk, and I have an educated appetite for risk myself. If I'm taking a risk, I understand what I'm getting myself into, but I'm not just making stupid deals to make them. I mean, I'm a very tough negotiator, and makes me lose a lot of deals that I'm almost there on because I'm just not going to put up with the BS, and I don't mind walking away from any deal. Oh yeah, and that reminds me of something you brought up too. Like, everything is sales, right? Even real estate, it's sales. And I think the most powerful tool is not getting emotional about anything you're trying to do in any type of sales, and having the power to walk away, right? So I can't tell you how many deals I've gone into where I'm negotiating and I'm at a price and I know that's the price, and they keep trying to get me to come up, and I'm like, no, that's the price. And then the second that I say that's the price, it's fine. If it's not going to work out, that's totally fine. We can try to do the next one. And then I walk away. Then 3 days later, they come back to me and say, hey, you still good with that price? It happens like clockwork. Yeah, but see, right? I'm meaner because I was a prosecutor for a long time, and my offers used to expire in a minute. I'd be like, you need to go talk to your client outside. You have 1 minute. If you come back at 1 minute and 1 second, you're pleading open to the judge. I do the same thing when I'm making offers for myself. When I know that there's a structural issue and I can solve it, and they're working, it's me versus a regular home buyer. I said, listen, yeah, I'll offer you the 400 today. If I lose, it's no problem. But I'm just telling you, when you go to inspection with the regular home buyer and then it fails and comes back on the market and you want the cash deal, you're not getting 400 anymore. You're getting 375. Don't ask me to do anything different. And they always come back and ask for the 400. And I say no. Sometimes I get it for the 375. Sometimes it sits out there for longer or some other dummy comes by. But like you, I know my numbers. I'm not hiding the ball. I tell them right away, listen, this is the time frame for an answer. I'm not going to let you use my offer for leverage against anybody else. And that's just the way it is. Again, because I don't care if I lose the deal. And that's so important. And I think you can still be like that, because most people, when they get their first deal, they basically immediately crap their pants anyway. So when you come in second, it's great because you lost, but you're the backup in case anything goes wrong. So I really like being second or third, because a lot of times maybe the second person, they found another property, or they're annoyed that they came in second. But I'm not just going to take it unless the property is great. If my offer was 20K below and they didn't do anything, they just took a higher offer. Yeah, sure. I might be still interested, but coming in second sometimes is the best thing that can happen to you.
Yeah, I don't mind coming in second at all, because so many deals fall through nowadays. And there's a lot of people out there trying to buy deals that just back out immediately. Like they probably just got emotional and they just made an offer and then they realized, oh, I shouldn't have made that offer. And then they back out. Yeah,
well, our sellers are greedy too. They have like us, certified closers, where people know like those guys are going to close, but someone offers them 15K more. Well, it's like 15K. I, as a seller, I might take that risk. Yeah. But then you got to go back with your tail between your legs when you kind of knew it wasn't going to happen, but you just shoot your shot for that 15K. And it's really hard for sellers. I understand. At 10K, I'm taking the closer. 15K, depending on what the price point is, it's hard to fault them. So I think what I always want is transparent process. I was in an adversarial career where all we did was argue. So when I got to real estate, I had to realize like, oh, I need to like tone it down a notch. This is not like people aren't going to prison for life. I need to like relax. And that's where I learned back, I thought back on all the times I watched my dad negotiate. And what it was about was just learning more information, showing up. And he taught me to just like, I would follow up with people 1 year, 2 years, never talk about the property. I'd call, say hi, ask how their kids are. I take detailed notes on everything that's not related to real estate, because then they know when I call, I'm going to say like, oh yeah, how's your cousin? I know they weren't feeling well. They're like, oh shit, how do you remember that? And then they ask, why didn't you ask about the real estate? So I just assume when you're ready to sell, you're going to let me know. But you seem like a cool guy. I just keep calling you. You seem all right. I am interested in the real estate. I'm never going to say I'm not, but whatever. It's not like that's the big difference. If every single call you make is a hard sell, who the hell wants to talk to you? That's why text messaging is such a disaster. I mean, I get so much unsolicited calls and texts, and people just keep doing it. Brokerages sell my info, so I'm getting 1,000 calls a day. You want triple certified leads? No, I have to unsubscribe. And do not call list does nothing. So you don't want to be that person. You just want to be the person who's like, hey, how's it going? Where are you going? Because how can anyone ever buy a house if you don't know where the person's going? And you have probably 90% of the people who are doing off-market acquisition never even ask the person where they're going. They just assume they have a place to go. Well, that'll hang you up for 6 months when you're in a wholesale and they really don't have any place to go. So you're not selling the house.
Yeah, I think one of my first questions I usually ask a seller is kind of like, why are you selling this house? And like what are your plans? Like what's your goals? Like, what are you trying to do? And they just open up. They're like, oh, I'm trying to do this, or like my family is having this issue, so we got to sell this for this. And I'm like, okay. Right. And it lets you like understand like how to approach that conversation of the sale when it becomes time. But like, I don't even really talk about price or anything like that. If I'm direct to seller, if it's a wholesale, like I just go right straight to the point, obviously, because they did all that for me.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, but sometimes I do ask the wholesaler, I'm like, oh, why is this person selling? Like to help them try to negotiate better. You know what I mean? But
but they usually don't know, because they're just trying to get the highest spread that they can get, which is idiotic. If you're a new wholesaler, like you should be looking for 5K on your first deal. That would be amazing.
That'd be fantastic.
5K. You know what I mean? But they're like, oh no, I really want to get 10 because I want to get to be an investor quicker. And again, that's short-term versus long-term. You don't need the spread. You need to develop more certified buyers so you can you need to get better at your ARV. You need to get better at your repair costs so that the investors know they can trust your numbers, and then they'll just buy. But again, same as what I was saying with an agent who just wants an investor. If you're a wholesaler, you may only need 2 or 3 good people, a VIP list. If you're good at your job and you get good properties and you know that your numbers are correct, you don't need to even have an email list. All you need to do is have those people at the meetups who are ready to buy because you're rock solid on your numbers and you do an inspection and send it out.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the fun part about investing too is once you become like one of those clear closers, like you know your numbers, you're going to buy it. Once a wholesaler learns that you don't mess around and you'll buy it and you'll close, they actually do send you like the deals first, which is great.
Yeah.
You start seeing the deals for anybody else and you're like, okay, can we make this work? Can we make this close? And they'll even like accept like lower offers, like as long as it works, because they want the certainty that it's going to close. And I've had that done so many times. Once I built a relationship with a wholesaler, they just at first, yeah, it's very like, I don't know, I might take this other person, blah, blah. And then you have to kind of just let them know, like, this is my number. We will close. And once you work with us, I guarantee you'll want to work with us again. And as long as you make it just an easy win-win situation for everybody involved, yeah, they come back and they're going to start working with you more. Like they'd like to work with you. They just want to get properties gone. That's all they want to do. They just want to transact.
Yeah, I mean, they should be focused on what's best for the client. Is this the time frame right for this client on the wholesale? Some people need to close right away. They have financial issues. Some people got to finish out the school year, but they're in foreclosure. Like there's a different story, as you were saying, for every single off-market acquisition. So there's nothing that's straightforward that you can't just do that old thing where you just send the blank check and say, hey, I'll give you 300. Sure, you can do that with like vacant land, but you can't do that with houses. There's people in them or there's tenants in them. You have to understand what the possibilities are, where people are going and how you can help them, because then you can help them in a lot of different ways just to make sure that they get where they're going.
Yeah. My favorite thing is when a wholesaler sends me just like an address with no pictures or anything. And they're like, what would you buy this for? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What would you buy it for?
But I have the same issue with, I'll never tell anyone. Someone will get, when you do a lot of off-market marketing, like spray and pray, you get a lot of calls. And a lot of times the people are just like, oh, well, what will you give me? I was like, how the hell could I tell you what I would give you for property? I haven't even seen it. It could be Lux, you've done a full renovation, or it could be a disaster smoke or cat piss house. Like that's a $250,000 difference. So I don't know. I can look at the value generally of what it's worth. But if I come in there and you have a mold problem, it's not going to matter. So do you want me to come up with a number that means nothing and then I'm going to come out there and chop it down? Because it's not going to be what you want. So tell me what you want. And then they say something, like 250,000 over value. Like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not coming out. And I don't go out if there's anyone else involved. I only go out if it's me. If I show up and there's other wholesale, I just leave. Yeah. Because it's just a waste of my time. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. You got to understand like where your time is worth and where your value is. And once you realize that, and you can really, I think it's hard for new investors because they just want that first deal. So they'll go bend over backwards. They'll go through hoops and stuff just to get that first deal.
Yeah. But then they can't sell it. They can't sell it. If they're wholesaling it, they can't sell it because they bought in too high. They're flipping it. They're out over their skis. They bought too high. Their renovation costs were too low. But on the first time, it's okay. That's part of the learning practice. You just never want to make the same mistake twice. And the reason why podcasts like this and mine and the good things out there exist is so people don't have to step in the same potholes that we did. They can just listen to content, not trust everybody and sign up for a guru class, but listen to all the little things that we've made mistakes on over the years so they don't have to do it. Like, don't buy sight unseen when you've never bought anything. Really don't buy sight unseen until you're very, very experienced. And it's such a windfall that like, even if there's an environmental disaster, you might be okay. These are just no-brainer things. Don't fall for the easy thing because you don't have enough time. And if you don't have enough time, invest in syndications. So vet syndicators. Don't invest in active real estate if you don't have the time because you're going to lose money.
Absolutely. So let's get this wrapped up here because it's been about an hour and I don't want to take up too much of your time. But you did touch there on like your podcast and stuff. And I just want you to tell the people just how they can reach out to you, either social media handles. If you have the meetups, you can talk about that. Yeah. Any charity events, business links, or even your podcast, like how they can listen to that because this is a fantastic podcast. Yeah. Especially the last, I think it was like 2-3 episodes ago or something.
Yeah.
Like I was on.
That was you. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, Wendell's been on the show. It's called Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing. You can find that same name.com. We're over 250 episodes. We've been recording for several years, published twice a week, talk to some of the biggest in the game, including Wendell. And I just love it. It's also fully independent. Don't run ads. I just like talking to real estate investors. My hub site you can find at Trust Greene, and Greene has an E at the end.com. And that kind of has all the times I've been on other people's podcasts, like this will go up there. I've been on Bigger Pockets 4 times. So there's just links to everything I like to share and collaborate like we're doing, going back to back on the podcast. And places like Instagram, I'm pretty easy to find with those same 2 handles. LinkedIn, I really enjoy now, even though it's a little more spammy than it used to be. It's still a business network, so I can tell who's being ghostwritten and who's not. But yeah, I'm somebody who is in my own DMs. I just never answer my phone, never will. Terrible use of my time. But I appreciate appreciate you having me on. It's always fun to get a switch spot and go on the opposite sides of the mic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to put all the contact information that you mentioned there down below into the bio. So anybody that's listening, you can click on it and reach out to Jonathan. But Jonathan, thank you as always. It's always great to talk to you, and I appreciate you coming on. Always great wisdom about real estate. And yeah, let's keep killing it and keep spreading the good energy throughout real estate, not the short-term greedy people.
Yeah, they'll always be there, but we'll just cruise right past them. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Thanks, Wendell.
Perfect. Thank you for listening, everybody.